Speaking of not so fun, that's kind of been my my weekend so far. Actually, the last 3 or 4 days. So, as you know, I started to I move hardware into my co-location, which is just a small 3U slot within someone else's rack within a data center, downtown Minneapolis. I moved that stuff there about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And since then, I've been trying to figure out a path forward. When I say a path forward, I know what my hardware is. Obviously, I moved it there. But a path forward with networking and with my software stack and stuff like that. So I decided for the time being, I'm just going to set up a site-to-site VPN. Good enough. It works. I might figure out some cool stuff with Tailscale later on. So then I decided, okay, let's get my hypervisor, all configured. That's all working. No problem at all. My next task was, let's move some of my Kubernetes stuff there. And I thought, got this. I got this. This is like my jam. This is my jam. And I use GitOps on top of that. So I thought, this is gonna be, home run for me. I do this stuff like for fun. And turns out it wasn't. So originally, I'm not technically doing a lift and shift. So I'm not lifting my current cluster and moving that cluster there. What I'm doing is a build and migrate 2. That's what I used to call it. So I was going to build a new cluster and migrate my workloads to that cluster. I thought, no problem. I got S3 storage or Minio. I got all my stuff backed up, all my stuff in GitOps. I got CI and CD. I'm going to ace this, home run. Well, it turns out at the same time, I was going to change Kubernetes distributions, going to change, a different CNI and network provider within Kubernetes. But I still thought, I got this. Well, turns out I don't got this. And turns out Kubernetes is still hard. So I spent about 3 days trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Some of the symptoms were, hey, I can't access this load balancer that I just created when I'm on a different VLAN. And I thought to myself, hey, this is networking, 100% networking. I can curl it on the same VLAN. I can't curl it when I'm on another VLAN. And on top of that, I was in my site to site. So I thought, yeah, it's a site to site networking firewall rule. Disable everything, nothing still. Okay, yeah. This totally makes sense. It's my inter VLAN routing. I just got to disable that rule. Disable it. Still doesn't work. So now I'm like, how can I curl or ping something on the same VLAN, but not on a different VLAN, and I have no ACLs in between? And on top of that, it was only on the Kubernetes worker nodes. So I was like, I was pulling my hair out. Yeah, pulling a lot of it out. And just thinking like, okay, is it my CNI? I switched CNIs. I went from Calico to Flannel, back to Canal to whoever knows. I almost tried Cilium. It's not the CNI. Okay, well, I did switch from MetaLB to KubeVip. Maybe it's something with MetaLB or KubeVip. So I switched MetaLB and KubeVip 5 times. Built my cluster, tore it down. Built it, tore it down 5 times. Then I thought, there's no way. What is going on? Maybe this is some weird bug with UDM. I kept blaming hardware the whole time. I thought there's no way this is something with Kubernetes after I was able to test other things. Oh, and on top of that, another load balancer that runs traffic was working fine. That was the clue. How could I have one load balancer IP working fine, but not another load balancer IP working fine? Well, it turns out in this Helm chart I was using, for my MongoDB databases, because I host my databases in Kubernetes, there's a load balancer in there that you can open up with a Helm, some Helm properties and expose load balancers, pretty typical stuff. Turns out the load balancer that they expose, they set a traffic policy to local. And now I don't know I don't know all the differences between them, but it's pretty confusing. A lot of people say, hey, use local if you don't want to preserve the IP. Use cluster if you do, or vice versa. Still don't even have them down because it's super confusing. Well, it turns out they had theirs turned on in local by default, and that just makes that load balancer almost invisible to everyone outside of the cluster. It's crazy magic going on. So I learned today that, hey, at least for me and my my setup with currently my new cluster that I'm testing with RKE2 and Calico, that if I expose a load balancer, I need to make sure that the traffic policy is set to cluster, not local. Why cluster? Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would I want it cluster? It sounds to me like, it's not intuitive. I would think local because I went local IP, but I think it's local inside the cluster versus cluster. Who knows? Anyways, long story short, after getting lots of tips from you guys in Discord and seriously like going crazy, my wife heard me grumbling for days. She was saying like little prayers for me, hoping that I figured it out. Finally figured it out last night about 7 o'clock. And I was like, I can finally be a normal human being again and like go outside and like shower and stuff. So anyways, that's a lot about that. So if you're struggling about stuff or you're working on some super complicated or you can't figure something out or you think Kubernetes is complicated, it's okay because it is. And I run into this stuff all the time too. So anyways, that out of the way, let's talk about what you're working on because other people's problems are fun to listen to because you can armchair quarterback the whole time. Try this, try that, and I have no skin in the game. So let's talk about what you're working on, and maybe I can offer some advice that is probably not so helpful to you, but who knows? Maybe we'll see. Anyways, thanks for bearing with me with that one, and thanks for people in Discord who are throwing out some suggestions on what to try. This again is a setting that I've never had to change. Typically when I create load balancers in the cloud, they just get created for me by the cloud's load balancer service. But when you do it with kubevip or MetaLB, kind of the same thing. But then when you combine that with a Helm chart that has a default for you that you think should work, that's where you can get in some trouble. And that's why I sometimes, and I'll stop after this, but man, it took up a lot of my life. I feel like I lost a couple of years after working on that. This goes back to why sometimes I always still even redeclare some of my default variables in case these things change in the future. And so I know like things that I can toggle. But some people are like, why do you define things that are the default? It's because if they're the default today, that doesn't mean they're the default tomorrow. And if I reinstall this thing, I do not want this to change. So yeah, so some of the reason why I still redeclare or declare defaults, even though they're supplied by default. Kind of weird, but so it's another one of my Tim-isms that I do. Anyways, let's talk about what you're working on. I could gripe about my cluster and Kubernetes all day. It's getting there though. Let's see. PC Geek first. Yes, you were. How's it going? Good to see you. And Logo. Techno Tim, how's it going? Hey, or evening. ISO. Oh, ISO, I think you did say something. I think you did before I started my chat. I think you said good morning and then you said or evening. Memems, how's it going? Undercurve TV, yo, hey, a lot of people. Happy Saturday. Hello, peeps. How's it going? Hello, everyone. PC Geek, what are you working on? PC Geek says, oh yeah, my hair's wild, but I kind of talk about that. But I'm going full Kramer. I went full Kramer dinner last night. My wife's like, ooh. Yeah, you should probably put on pants. I don't think sweatpants is going to fly tonight. I'm like, okay, well, I'm leaving the hair because I'm not doing anything with it. PC Geek says, currently setting up my second Proxmox custom-built Proxmox server. Awesome, man. I think you talked about it last week. I think it's an AMD. It's like some beast mode AMD up to 128 gigs of RAM, 2 PCI Express 16x slots, 3.0. So yeah, sounds awesome, man. Let me know how that's going. Sigor, Budney says hello, and Sigor says, my new Unified Dream Machine SC should be arriving anytime now. Awesome, Sigor. I'm happy for you. I think they're great devices. They're great for, what I consider, small installations, or even, I don't know what's considered a big. It's pretty subjective, I guess. But I think they're great. Obviously, there are some limitations. It's kind of how, I feel like I'm apologizing for them, but there's only so much you could do with $300 or $400 in a box. But I think it does a lot. So I'm happy for you. Dude, thanks for the cheers, man. Dahafa, hey, thanks, 500 bits. Dude, thank you so much. Got to see my purple Mega Man. How's it going? Good to see you. Thanks again for the support. I appreciate it. Gagobi, hi. How's it going? Good to see you. I don't know what this emoji is. Oh, can I get some hover actions on that? Hi. Oh, it's a hi. I see it. Oh, thank you so much for putting it in there. I'm going with Mr. Rock. Just dropping by to show you your stream. Some much love. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Mick Rockin, McLovin. Thank you. I appreciate it. Gabogi, recovering from a disastrous boot drive failure. Oh, that does not sound good. That does not sound good. Yeah, those are the failures that are super hard to like. I mean, it's one thing to have, you be able to restore a volume from somewhere, or you got to restore a file or config. But when you lose your boot drive, that kind of stinks. That like puts a damper in everything because you're like down. Hopefully you have IPMI, or hopefully you have, you're physically there to where you can put another one in. Hopefully you have a spare. Yeah, that stinks because you're down for the count. And then you're just, you're getting scrappy. You're like, okay, I mean, your drive failed. I don't know if it's hardware or software, but if it's hardware, then you're getting scrappy. You're like, what can I pull from something to make sure that this still works? I've been guilty of pulling a disk out of an array to get something else to boot while I wait on the warranty, and then the warranty would then replace the thing in the array and I would be in a degraded state until the other one came back. Been there, but hopefully you're not there. Men's, moving applications to Hetzner Cloud, keeping data on local NAS. I like this idea. This is very similar to what I've been considering and some of the things that I think I have coming up with Tailscale. It's basically, run your workers on the edge. Keep your data home safe with you, So it's pretty cool stuff. I have some cool stuff coming up. I haven't figured it all out, but I like this idea. I like this idea where you say, hey, you know what? I could do hybrid cloud, hybrid private cloud, whatever you want to call it. Multi-site private cloud, whatever you want to call it. But you're basically saying, hey, I don't want to, instead of the whole internet coming into my environment, let's just put some of these agents on the edge, at risk or on the edge versus my data too. So pretty cool. I mean, obviously if someone, was able to, get into that machine, they could possibly still get the data out, but the risk is a lot less. So yeah, I've been thinking through this stuff too, hence why I brought up WireGuard, I keep saying WireGuard, Tailscale in that last video, is because I've been considering some of this, because otherwise, site-to-site VPN works. It's tried and true, it works, but you can do some interesting stuff with Tailscale or any mesh network, right? You could basically flatten out your network no matter where it is, which is interesting. It's like changing the networking paradigm. So it's pretty cool. Well, I let me know how it goes. I'm interested. Gabogi, glad there was no critical files on there, although there was one container, which I'd really like to get my files back from. So this is on the boot drive crash. Yeah, that stinks. I'm betting, so a boot drive that was running a container, no critical files. To me, that sounds like, I'm betting, I don't know. I'm just making this up. I don't know. I was gonna guess. I like guessing. I like people. I like it when people give me scenarios and I try to figure out what they are. Betting maybe a Proxmox. Maybe you ran Docker on that Proxmox for whatever reason. Maybe it was iDRAC, and then you had a configuration on there and it died, and so now you lost it. Because I'm trying to think like, how would an OS or a boot drive run it, still have some data on it that you need, or that you say you don't need, other than one container. So that's my guess. I hope I'm close. Budney, redoing my rack rails on my rack, had a bit of a mishap this morning. No noob issue, LOL. Yeah, I've been there many times. Luke Skywalker, hey, thanks for follow, appreciate it. So redoing your rack rails on my rack, okay, had a bit of mishap this morning. Budney, I've been there a few times. I've moved rack. I don't know what your issues were, but I've been there plenty of times. One time I accidentally racked a couple of servers, one hole off, to where when I was going to tighten up my rack screws, I didn't even notice, and I broke one of the rack screws, and I was like, That's not normal. And I thought it was, it's the rack screws. And it actually happened with rack studs too. And I was like, dude, these aren't the greatest. And then I realized, oh, I was off by one, and everything was going at a tiny slant that I couldn't see, from the other end. And then I had to redo it, and it took a lot of time, and I broke some screws and studs. So, Gabogi, waiting for the recovery process while I'm digging into PVE logging. Hey, I might be onto something. I was saying it's probably Proxmox, and I was saying it was probably a container, probably Docker, and maybe, just maybe, FryDrac. I don't know. I might be so close to getting this right. Romeo Jr., sup, fellow nerds? Hey, what's up? What's going? Melkosoft, how's it going? Good to see you. Alkis. Alkis. Atchels. That's what I'm going with. In the house cleaning when he's gonna start DJing. Techno Tim in the house. When is he gonna start DJing? I don't know. I'm not a great DJ. I could play some music. I guess that's what DJs do. Well, there's multiple kinds of DJs. If you want me to select music and play it, maybe someday. I can't do it on here. I'll get a DRM strike. But maybe somewhere else. Undercurve TV. I'm somewhat programming a Discord bot using a package called OI. OI, that's what I'm going to say. AOI. OI. JS. But mostly trying to motivate myself to work on my main project. Oh, so you got a side project. So you got a side main project and then a side project. I know how that goes. Been there. Sometimes it's okay to do side projects from your main project, because then you might learn something on your side project to bring back into your side main project, or your side project might become your side main project. Who knows? Been there. Hello, Mr. Streamer. Hey, thank you. Hey, Clear for Blue. Hello, Mr. Streamer. It's so formal. It's going to be good looking. It's going good. Looking to start in networking. Awesome. Yeah, that's sounds good to me, say Sinks. Networking is good foundation for a lot of your home lab. Networking and storage. Those are two things that, and hypervisor, if you're going to hypervise, or bare metal. I guess that's another decision. Those are some of the big decisions you need to make up front. Networking, I would say, is the most critical to make up front, because everything depends on it. But it's hard. I feel like, networking always evolves like everything else. But the ramifications for that evolving are huge. And sometimes on some machines, you can't change IP addresses for some of the services afterwards. So use DNS. But yeah, it's tough. But it's fun. It's fun for sure. Oh, that Crazy Stoner, how's it going? Peace and love. Hey, what's up? Have a nice stream. Thank you, Crazy Stoner. PC Geek, it's almost 60 there. Ooh, yeah, give me some of that. I want that again. I love high of 60s, low of upper 40s, maybe low of 50s, upper 40s at night, totally fine. As long as it's going to get, 60 during the day, I love it. That's my jam. It's my jam. I figured you guys out east were getting our weather that we had a little while ago, which was crazy. And plus, out east, you've been getting crazy snow and stuff anyways. Finally got the time zones right to join. Hey, Joe Mano Tech. Hey, no problem at all. If you need help with that, you can either, turn on notifications here, or sign up for notifications in Discord, and you'll get them. But yeah. PC Geek, wife and I took a walk today. Hey, that is awesome. That is awesome. It is great to get outside. I need to get outside. I feel like a crazy person. I mean, outside of going to dinner last night, I took the dogs for a walk and stuff like that, filled up the bird feeders, but outside of that, haven't been out too much. 76 and sunny here in Raleigh, man. You guys, yeah, Colorado. Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. Silver Surfer. I just noticed my SSH login takes 0.341 milliseconds longer. Any optimization advice? Come on. Can you really measure that? Trolling me. Linux XZ 5.6 has been backdoored, so I'm making sure. Yeah, I sell that. All of my Linux VMs are on 5.4 or below. Just watch from Tom Lawrence's video on that. Yeah, I saw Ars Technica article on that too. Yeah. I don't So I don't know the details. I should probably watch this video or watch the Ars Technica stuff for sure. For sure. Let's see. Funny. Let's see. Okay. Hey, working on some of my Social Blade stuff today. I can't get it right. Can't get it right. Finally remember the name. But then, you're not working on that project. It's okay. Clear for blue. I'm struggling to get Kate's cluster work behind a firewall. I've seen here at home. I've set here at home. Okay, so you're struggling to get Kubernetes cluster working behind a firewall that you set here at home. It kind of depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to access the Kubernetes API through kubectl, that's going to be one of a few ports. If it's K3S, it's 6443. You'd have to look into the port. That's as simple as opening the port and port forwarding. You probably don't want to open that, though, through your firewall. You probably don't want to access kubectl that way. You don't want to have just randos coming in and trying to, get access to your configuration. What you're probably talking about is, hey, you're hosting some services in there, and you're using an ingress controller to create an ingress to get into that cluster, right? It's your entry point for that cluster, and that's probably what you're struggling with. Well, first thing I would try personally is, hey, can I access it internally? If I do a curl on that load balancer IP, can I get a response back that I'm expecting? This is exactly what I was going through the last 3 days. So I have some experience here. If yes, then if yes, you're good for the most part. If yes, then it should be as simple as port forwarding that port then to that machine, and then making sure your DNS, entries match. Like if you're hosting something, your routes are defined that match your DNS entries, right? So if it gets a request for, myhomeserver.com, do you have a route defined in your ingress controller? Not in your ingress controller. Well, yeah, but in your ingress itself, traffic or Nginx ingress, do you have a route defined that matches that host name? Because that's how it's going to route that host name then to that service. So that's the magic right there. That's the glue right there, right? To get from your load balancer to your ingress controller to a route to a service to a pod. That's the path. But those are the things I would test. Port forward's the easy part. It's everything else that's kind of hard. Premortal. Hey, Tim, been hanging around the Discord. Hey, whoa, real quick, dude, Authoron, how's it going? 14 months, woo woo. How's it going, man? Good to see you. I know him I know him IRL. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Thanks for the 14 months. Thank you for the continued support. Good to see you, man. And we need to catch up. Man. We need to catch up. I need to see how you're doing. But anyways, good to see you. Can I say it one more time? I just did. We need to catch up. Pre-immortal. Hey, Tim, been hanging around the Discord and getting so much great information. Appreciate your advice on container registries this morning. Hey, pre-immortal. Now I know what your Discord name is. Yeah, no problem at all. So you're so I'll just reiterate kind of what you were asking this morning, or the challenge you were facing. You were saying, hey, when I bootstrap my cluster, well, let's take this back even one more. Let's unpeel this whole onion. Hey, I'm using GitOps. And because I'm using GitOps, I can bootstrap my whole entire cluster with a few commands, which means I can spin up, 50, 60 services all at once. Well, those 50, 60 services are using Docker images from Docker, or maybe from GitHub or wherever else. And those services have pull limitations on it, right? Docker has limitations on how many times you can pull. They put all that stuff in place, and then GitHub's like, hey, we'll do container registries and we'll do it for free. Anyways, that aside, and you're saying, and your question was, well, how do I make sure that I don't bombard the container registries with all of these requests all at once? And I think there was a couple of suggestions that went out. Hey, you host an internal registry with pull through cache, right? So that the first time you request it, you pull through your registry and it gets cached there. I think that's the way you want to go if you're going to do cloud native. But another thing that's super popular and that is super high performing too is LAN cache, and that's a general purpose proxy or LAN or a cache across your whole LAN. to cache lots of stuff. So games, operating system updates, Linux ISOs, and even Docker images if configured correctly. I feel like this is probably the only use case for LAN cache if you're the only person using it. And so, yeah, so I probably am going to still bring LAN cache into my environment for just for fun. Anyways, so I just explained your whole entire situation. I appreciate it, and I totally agree. We have super helpful people in Discord. I got super lucky. So, hey, thanks for coming to the stream. Jomano Tech, have you tried the TIG stack together with your triple Pi-hole setup for a combined dashboard? Let me see. The TIG stack together for your triple Pi-hole setup for a combined dashboard. I don't know what the TIG stack is. Sounds like I do need to know what it is, but I don't know what it is. Triple Pi-hole setup for combined. I do have multiple Pi-holes. I do have 3. Actually, now I have 5. I'll get into that later. I'm going Pi-hole crazy. But no, I haven't. I haven't. Sounds interesting. So the reason why I have 3 for me personally is because I have 3 DNS servers here in my home. Sounds crazy, but they're all Pi-hole and they're all synchronized. And then my primary is actually virtualized, and then my secondary is load balanced between 2 servers. One is virtualized and one is running just on a Raspberry Pi. So, and that's so if, hey, my whole entire rack's down, that little Pi on the wall, its VIP is still serving out DNS requests. So kind of crazy, but it's fun. It's fun. And I had to figure out a way to like still provide DNS to my network when I took my servers down, because my wife would ask me if the internet's down all the time. I'm like, well, I mean, how much do you want to know? Yes, it is down for all intents and purposes. It's not really down though. It's just DNS isn't working, but she's, glosses over. So I'm just like, yep, internet's down. Give me 5 minutes. So anyways, awesome. I'll have to look into it. Sounds interesting. High potential. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Dr. Skill Issue. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Romeo Jr. Oh, I know that it wasn't a joke. Oh, it wasn't a joke. I think you mean about the exploits. Yeah. No, I know. I read on Ars Technica this morning about it a little bit. So yeah, I need to actually see how it affects me. But I don't have SSH exposed publicly. A lot of, and I will say this, and not that it's not good to take all of these things, seriously. But a lot of times, day zero attacks or things like these exploits, are for devices on the edge, right? They're for edge devices. What do I mean by edge devices? Well, directly connected to the internet, right? And so if you don't expose that port and you don't have those devices connected to the edge, for most people, a majority of the people, because the majority of the devices aren't connected to the edge, it's kind of moot, So I'm not saying it's not serious, but there's a whole class of exploits that just don't apply to people who have things internal that aren't available external. Sure, if they got into your environment and then tried to exploit it that way, absolutely. But for the most part, I don't expose SSH publicly anywhere. So if it only affects SSH, I don't have to worry as much. And I can probably just wait till it's patched instead of rolling stuff back. That's me personally, what I would do. Because I don't expose SSH anywhere. That's not my thing. If I need to SSH into something, I'm gonna VPN in to that network and then do it from there. Anyways, not this is not security advice. Just my opinion, man. Gabogi, take a look at the Discord security channel backdoor. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we were just talking about. That's where, responsible for the login process taking longer. I see what you mean. I got it. But how would you know it's going to take 0.3 milliseconds longer? That's crazy. That's crazy. So someone who noticed that must have some crazy, I wonder if I wonder if they discovered the exploit and then reported one of the symptoms, because that would be hard to discover that symptom and then link it to something else. So I got you. But yeah, it sounds interesting. I need to read more into it for sure. Sans SpaceX. Which pill did you take? Was it a blue pill or red? Because you might be here, but you might be there. Mighty voices in your head. I hear you. This is probably going back to my rant about what I've been working on the last couple of days. And yeah, it's exactly how I feel. This is exactly how I feel. I feel like there's an alternate reality where I'm still figuring out that problem and I'm going crazy. Kubernos Navigator. Whoa, this is a lot going on. I got to get this. Kubernos Navigator. Navigator. 2 words I've never heard of or seen together. I got the Kuber part. Kubernos Navigator. Yes. Let's talk about distributed etcd and Kubernetes using 2 public IPs and load balance applications in Harvester. Pop Solutions from Brazil here. Hey, Pop Solutions. Hey, good to see you. Yeah, another Discord-y that I didn't recognize your Twitch, so thanks for letting me know. Hey, so yeah, again, these are some of the possibilities when you start talking about mesh networks. I will say, though, that distributed etcd, so if you're going to do etcd, it's latent sensitive, right? It's latent intolerant, right? And so it's very sensitive to latency. And while internal networks, for the most part, don't have super high latency, it's totally okay. Once you start going over mesh, that's a different story. And I would love to explore that. But there's still hope, because what we were talking about earlier, hey, you could imagine a world where your etcd nodes, so your Kubernetes, etcd nodes, your control plane API, where your database is stored, all your secrets are stored, lives in a safe spot, right? Your home. And your agents are out on the edge, the unsafe place. And so you can imagine a world like that too. So it's pretty awesome. I got some cool stuff. Maybe I'm giving away too much. You've piqued my interest, and hopefully I'm piquing yours right back. Yeah, it's very bad. Got many stuff on 5.6. Yeah, I totally agree. Because, but again, are they on the edge, and are they running? Can that be exploited? Is I guess my question. But we already covered that. Matt, hey, speaking of people I know in person, hey, how's it going? Good to see. Strawberry is always my favorite jam. Always. I agree, unless it's Kubernetes, because Kubernetes is my jam. After that, I don't know. Well, so would you choose jelly over jam, or are they the same thing? Because if I could choose any fruit topping for toasted pastries, it would be grape jelly. But grape's a jelly, and jam's a jam. But my favorite jam is Kubernetes. After that, it's strawberry jam. But if I could choose any fruit topping, it might be blueberry or grape, one or the other. But I like grape. Grapes for me is classic. It so much nostalgia growing up drinking grape. Well, yeah, drinking grape Kool-Aid, but also eating PBJs with grape. Good to see you, man. Tim, are you using WireGuard for the site-to-site? Kubernos. I got to get this. Kubernos Navigator. That's a lot of Kubers and Noses and Navies. I'm not currently. Well, yeah, that's a good question. I think I don't know. No, so that's a great question. Hey, are you using WireGuard versus L2P or OpenSSL for my site-to-site? The only reason why I'm struggling to answer this is because I'm using Unify Site Magic, right? And because it's magic, I don't know what it is. So I should probably look into it. I have a feeling it's gonna be OpenVPN, but I could be wrong. Or OpenSSL. But I'm probably wrong. It's probably LT2P or L2TP. but I could be wrong. No, that's a great question. I should probably know this, but I don't. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't know because Site Magic is just that. It's Site Magic. I pick 2 sites. I pick the VLANs that I want to expose to each other. I click a button, and 4 seconds later, it's connected and everything's routed, and it is awesome. So I gotta look into it. That is a great question. What is the technologies that's behind Site Magic? Because it's obviously not magic. That's all marketing speak, and I should know the tech behind it. But Modest Tim, Apple Butter is pretty good too. I see that. I see that on the screen, and I cannot pass that up. Yeah, Apple Butter is so good, so good. Kubernetes Navigator, I'm getting it now. The site-to-site VLAN is running into something like PrivateNet, WireGuard, OpenVPN. What are you using? Yeah, I just answered that. Good question though. I should know this. Good to go. Got things to do, and I'll catch you later. Hey, thank you so much, Mr. Rock, Mick Rockin. Thanks for being here. Modest Tim, I had an issue yesterday where one of Social Blade's Kubernetes VMs randomly was going through sub-millisecond latency to over one, timed out. Turned out that the PBS, the PBS on the same node was on the same VLAN and hosting and caused the network on the whole server to have routing issues. Somehow the only issue surfaced because it was restarting the server while upgrading rack power. Oh yeah, no, Proxmox backup server. I see you. Crazy, yeah. Dude, I can't even imagine. Timing turned out, yep. On the same node was calling the VLAN host causing the network on the whole server to have nothing but routing issues. Yes, so yeah, Kubernetes in general is, yeah. So one, it's crazy, especially when it comes to networking. And then 2, like everything's so sensitive to latency, especially with health checks and depending on what version of Kubernetes you're running. I don't see it there, but depending on what version of Kubernetes you're running, all of those containers that are running Kubernetes are also super, they're latent intolerant. I'll put it that way. And things can go bad and or wrong really fast if you introduce a lot of latency. And Kube was etcd throwing errors. Yeah, right. No ready. Yep. Again. Yeah. I hear you. I see your comment. I totally agree. I even get that too. Going back to the comment about I'm trying to pull a whole bunch of containers at once. How can I throttle this? I almost ran into that same thing today too. I was migrating my workloads. I use GitOps. I have a big namespace with 30, 40 workloads in it. I push that up and I'm like, oh, this is probably going to hurt. Because, now all of my nodes, those workloads are going to get distributed on all the nodes. And then all those nodes are going to pull, 30, 40 containers all at once, spread across all that nodes, which is just going to cause havoc. It's going to cause havoc for about 30 seconds, And, and so I guess going earlier, talking about, hey, I don't want to hammer, someone's container image. For me, it's like, I'll hammer it away because it's GitLab. 1, they don't care. And 2, they can handle it. But 3, my cluster can't handle it. I don't have enough IOPS to pull down, 30 or 40, anywhere between 300 to 1 gig, containers all at once. So yeah, I next time I have to restore my whole cluster, I have to take it in baby steps too. I thought, it'll be fine. It's fine. No, no. But yeah, your cluster will freak out because all of a sudden, you introduce, even a second of latency, and everything's like, whoa, I haven't heard from etcd in less than a second. I'm losing my mind. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Bolto, any advice on flashing BIOS outside the computer? Outside of the computer, been trying with a 341A USB programmer. You are I have zero advice because you're so far beyond advice I could give. I feel like any advice that I would give you, I think you would already know. Because I don't understand. So you're trying to flash BIOS outside of the computer with USB programming. That is beyond me. That is beyond me. When it comes to electrical engineering, I'm just does it turn on or not? Even when it comes to, even measuring power, I'm just I don't know which setting to turn this on to. and which probe I put where. So, so when it comes to electrical engineering, I got zero. I got zero. Mine's just like, is it on or off? I'm terrible when it comes to this stuff. But I have a feeling you're going to figure it out. I have a feeling you're going to figure it out. I'm also curious, like, whoa, flashing BIOS outside of the machine that it's on? This sounds awesome. This sounds awesome. I need me some of that. At least watch some of that. Denimime, how's it going? JNinja issues, so templating. How do I set up this variable? Ooh, here we go. On the spot. So it expands properly. Declaration. Ooh, this is too much for my brain. So I'm not great at JNinja. I'm not great at JNinja, so it's a templating engine for a lot of stuff. A lot of people use it for all kinds of stuff. Make files, I don't know, Helm charts, you name it. Ansible stuff. I got nothing on this because this is like way beyond my brain. And I don't make a ton of templates. And I'm terrible when it comes to DSL, so domain-specific languages. Same reason why I'm like terrible at regex is just because I don't spend a ton of time doing it. So I'm sure you already have, but I'm going to redirect you to our either automation or Kubernetes channel on Discord, or maybe someone here will know it too. Denibime, I think you're going to figure it out. I know. Denibime has tenacity too. She's always will not give up. Internet. I ran out of hard drive space in a tower, so swapping out the HBA to go to external for you, JBot. Hey, this is cool. So you ran out of space in your tower, so you're like, hey, I don't have enough rooms, quote unquote, in this building, quote unquote, for all these tenants or hard drives. I'm just going to go get an external HBA, or I'm going to get an HBA so you can connect to an external for you, JBot. That is awesome. That is awesome. I've been there. I ran that, NetApp JBot for a while. It had 24 slots. I only filled 6 or 8. I can't remember. I thought like, yeah, I'm creating content now. I'm just gonna like fill up all 24 of these, or at least 12 of them in a year. So I better go big. Turns out I probably didn't need to go that big, but I think you know what you're doing too. But that is awesome. That is awesome. I'm curious what JBot you went with, because it's kind of hard to find, just a bunch of disks. JBot. I keep saying JBot like everyone knows it. But it's basically an array of a shelf. It's dumb. You plug in, connectivity to it, and you could power that whole drive shelf full of drives and connect them either individually or as an array to a computer. So it's not smart. It's kind of dumb. I mean, it's smart, but it's dumb. It doesn't have any real computer or anything. The real value is being able to connect all of those drives to a computer. Not through networking or anything other than a cable. So yeah, curious. Oh yeah, Supermicro. All right, you got a good one then. I was like reaching back 20 years, getting a NetApp. So if you're saying Supermicro and it's JBot, I'm sure it's great. Bro, is Proxmox the same as VMware ESXi? I mean, how far do you want to go in this? For all intents and purposes, kinda. All right, I'm just gonna say kinda. They're a hypervisor. They take on the task of creating virtual machines from one big physical machine, or many physical machines. They do it differently though. So at the end of the day, they're there to solve a similar problem, right? Virtualization for machines, but they've taken a very different approach. How about that? That's as far as I'll go. LOL, restaurants always require too many clothes. Yeah. Well, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Like clothing requirements in restaurants, they're pretty high. They set the bar pretty high. Gotta have shirt, gotta have pants, gotta have shoes. I mean, come on. Can't someone without shoes get some food? That's me on beach resorts. Well, I'm on a beach. Who cares? vSphere. All right, with vSphere. Hey, 9 to 5 office worker. In general, I'll just go back to this. Like when you start talking about, hey, are these all the same? They're all trying to solve the same thing, which is virtualization, which you understand probably what that is. Taking one physical machine and dividing that up into lots of little virtual machines, mini machines out of one big machine. So, ESXi or vSphere is a little bit more towards like the enterprise piece, I think, of virtualization, which, Proxmox is trying to do too. But any of these products, Hyper-V, you name it, they're all trying to solve the same problem, just a different way. So they all want, how about this? They all want your money for virtualization, right? So you got to decide who you're going to give your money to, right? Who's creating the best product? Who's creating the product that, has the best licensing? Who's creating the product that, fits all your use cases? Or who's creating the product that has support behind it? Because when things go wrong, I'm not the expert in this thing. The company that built it is. So yeah, I mean, a lot of decision points there. They all are trying to do virtualization just a different way. So, oh yeah, thanks for the bits. Appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah. Is that a mic, a Rode? Yeah, pod mic. Yeah, it is. It's kind of at a weird angle right now, only because like my audio stuff is still, it's a work in progress. I don't know how on like year 3 it's still a work in progress, but it is. But yeah, it's a Rode pod mic. I've had it ever since they launched it, and I love it. Right now, this is not, and if you're hearing it right now, probably doesn't sound the greatest. You might think it sounds okay. This is zero filter, zero tuning, zero anything, because I'm having a problem with that right now with my Wave XLR. This is exactly how it sounds if you don't do anything to it, because I'm not doing anything to it, because as soon as I start doing stuff to it, my Wave XLR stops working, but that's a different story. But yes, it is. And if you're curious what a pod mic sounds like without tuning it at all, it's exactly this, because that's how it's working right now. Luke Skywalker, using Rancher. Yeah, good question. So hey, is this are you going to? Are you still? Yes. The answer is yes to all of those. I've been using Rancher for years. At first I used Rancher to help me learn Kubernetes. It's a great way to learn Kubernetes, to explore these different concepts, to explore these CRDs, to like look at logs without knowing kube control commands, where, at work I used a lot of the kube control commands, but for a long time it was still kind of like opaque. I didn't really know like how the things fit together. So Rancher helped me figure out how things fit together, and it also made me pretty efficient at managing multiple clusters. So at first I used it, just to launch my services. Now I use it to launch my clusters. I don't use it to launch my services. I use them to check up on my services, or just to look at the logs from my clusters, like, cluster-wide events. That's super easy to look at with Rancher. But now it manages. Right now I have 4 clusters. I think by the end of this, 5 clusters that I'm managing with 2 instances of Rancher. That's going to collapse, and this is where this is getting weird. But as I'm doing my build and migrate to, I'm actually managing 5 clusters right now with Rancher, and 5 of them with Flux, with GitOps. So it's pretty cool. And so in the future, am I still going to use it? Yes, because being able to manage 5 clusters is challenging, right? I mean, I have freaking 5 contacts in my kube control, my kube config, and I got to switch contacts all the time. Totally fine. I'm fine with doing that. I've accidentally deployed and deleted the wrong things multiple times already. That's what GitOps is for and backups are for. But I still use Rancher because it basically gives me like, a cloud-like experience for Kubernetes outside of the cloud. And that's kind of hard to do. I mean, outside the Kubernetes dashboard, but yeah, that has some, they need to work on their authentication on that. That is hands down the best dashboard for Kubernetes, but I think they need to work on their auth piece, where the token that you use isn't like a God mode token that like can let you do anything to the cluster. But anyways, long story short, yes, still will be in the foreseeable future. I'll probably have some stuff coming up on that and how I managing 5 clusters right now pretty soon. Maybe. I don't know. I've been going back and forth on this. Like, there's so much content I could do around this whole, like, even like my last week that's been a nightmare. I have documented a lot of it. I've thought about sharing it with you all. Just don't know if like, hey, like this is like some more less formal content about like me managing all of this stuff, if that would be interesting to most. So yeah, I've considered it, and I still might even do it, just super informal, this is what I'm working on. This is how I'm planning on moving things or doing things moving forward, and just keep asking for advice. I would love to have this feedback loop where, the stuff I'm doing in the colo is you guys are helping guide me. I mean, you've already started to guide me too with the the whole VPN versus Tailscale. I love it. So many people commented and have so many good ideas. So. Dear Flux CD, yes you did. Yes you did. Conda Zero. Yes you did. Yeah, I use Flux CD. I have it on 5 clusters right now. I'm managing all 5 of them with Rancher and with Flux. So you can use both for sure. Absolutely. Mystic. Hey bro, how's your data? Sorry, I love saying it. Hey bro. How's your data center? Oh, hey, dude, thank you. Mob Farmer. Thank you so much. 100 bits. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, bro. How's your data center setup going now? Love the video. Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, speaking of, it's going good. I mean, this last week has been really focusing on getting my... Dude, Mob Farmer, dude, followed up with the sub. Bits before the sub. Dude, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Dude, thank you. But Mystic, yeah, so you probably heard my struggles, but yeah, I'm this week and a half kind of sort of been focusing on migrating my cluster that's hosted at home to a cluster that's now hosted in the colo. I want to get a lot of my public facing stuff out of my home in there. I still have my home lab. I'm still going to run Kubernetes internally for all my home stuff. It's just like when you have 100,000 randos coming in your firewall every month, probably a good sign that, you should probably put it somewhere else. And I don't mean to call you randos, but yeah, on the internet, at least according to the firewall logs, they are random people from all over the world. And it's no offense, but it's like, hey, I trust most people, but why take on that risk? And so I am going to start moving. Yeah, I've been already. Probably right after the stream. I should probably do it during the stream. That would have been good, but I'm not that confident, and I'm not that coordinated. But I'm doing the great DNS flip. So right now I'm at a state where 75% of my workloads are running in the colo. 100% are still running at home. And I'm building a dual cluster, right? They're both going to be running independent. There's kind of a little split brain scenario that I got to deal with, right? Because I moved databases there too. So this stuff thinks, hey, I know the current state of stuff in the database, and this cloud is saying the same thing. So what I got to do really quick is do a quick snapshot, quick backup of the data, quick import, quick restore into the cloud. Then I'm going to do the great DNS flip, and it's not really going to be that eventful, other than I'm going to trigger one of my workloads that is basically my Dyn DNS client, and I'm just going to let that run. And the next time it runs, it's going to say, hey, I have a different IP address. Let's go update DNS. And then it's going to flip, and then worldwide that's going to trickle down. And then the next time you access my documentation or anything that I host, you might be getting out of the colo, might be a little faster, and no longer in my home. So that's my plan. And then I'm gonna, I'm not gonna totally delete the workloads or the cluster that I have here at home. I'm gonna sleep it. I'm just gonna, let it go to. Obviously, I don't have to change much as far as like uptime alerts and all that stuff. I do have to change some because I had some internal DNS records that I need to flip internally too. But for the most part, I'm actually running Pi-hole all the way across, even into the colo, and I'm syncing all of that with Gravity Sync. It was the easiest way to get all of my DNS records all the way out there really fast. I actually tried to use DNS on a UniFi device. That is not the way to go. That is not a full-fledged DNS, and plus it's only one device. So I ended up spinning up 2 more Pi-hole nodes in the colo, and I use Gravity Sync to sync all of my my DNS records all the way up there, and it actually works out really good. So I still only make my changes in one. Anyway, long story short, then I'll just put my cluster to bed. I'll just, hey, good night, time to shut it down, and I'm just gonna let it shut down, and I'll wait for something to blow up or wait for alerts to go off. After the next couple of days, I'll watch all my backups. Did all the backups run? Yes. Did all of the, volumes for Kubernetes backups run? Yes. Did my Rancher and all of my Kubernetes clusters back up? Yes. And then Then it's going to be, okay, let's redo. I'm giving it all away. Then it's going to be, let me redo my home cluster. So this is why I'm like exploding on clusters. I'm going to have 2x clusters and then get rid of some. Because then I'm going to redo all of my existing clusters because now I'm using a new instance of Rancher that's in the colo. So anyway, I'm spoiling everything, but it is fun. It's fun to talk about this stuff. So it's going well. It's fun to figure out. And I just have this like renewed sense of like challenge now. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to think about new stuff. I'll put it that way. It's pretty cool. You know, just it's like any new project you start, right? Any new project, you're like, yes, this is great. You know, imagine doing the same project for a couple of years. You know, that's kind of what my cluster at home has turned into. And so I was like, now I'm like, oh, new project. This is so fun. This is so awesome. And so sometime too, I got to figure out like how much of this do I share in a video and how much do I not. Anyways, thanks. It's going great. It's going great. Like I said, new things to think about, new challenges. No, that's always fun. Swiss Techno Tom, how's it going? I see a face finally with this name. Hi Tim, good to see you again. Have you experienced in your using AI in IDs and IPS systems? Example, Unify or pfSense. Have you experienced in using AI? And IDS and IPS in your systems. No, this sounds really interesting. So you're basically saying, hey, have you tried using AI yet with basically your firewall logs to help out or enhance your IDS and your IPS? No, this sounds awesome. No, but it would just take a lot of compute. It sounds awesome. Like, hey, you feed this LLM well, first the LLM would have to exist for like, whatever, these logs look like. Then you would have to train it, right? You'd have to train it and say, these are good, these are bad, these are good, these are bad, these are good, these are bad. And you'd have to do that a lot of times. Then you would just turn it over to AI and say, okay, you tell me which ones are good and bad. No, it sounds awesome. I'm sure someone's already doing this like at scale and they're ready to sell like, this awesome suite of products to you. I'm sure, I'm just guessing, but I'm sure a lot of these companies are working on that same thing. Because right now, it's humans basically saying good or bad, or it's a static set of rules, right? That we've had for 20 years to say, hey, this cross script request right here, this is known bad. And so we're just throwing it out. So, a lot of things are, that we currently are using are based on static rules or heuristics, based on sets of activities, that we've seen before in the past, but not ones that we've seen in the future. And so that's how I think AI can help us, not only to protect us from the things that are already going on, but the things that could go on that we may not have seen, right? We may not have seen this type of attack before, but something like AI has already imagined, work with me here, they don't have an imagination, but AI has already imagined and learned what that could be ahead of time. So it's pretty cool. Who will protect us for ourselves? No one. No one. Once it becomes sentient, it is over. Once they become sentient, it is over. Yeah, it's so for me, it's interesting to think about, right? It's super interesting for me to think about. Do I have AI running here at home, and am I doing AI projects? No. Nope. Could I in the future? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's come up a couple times already. And I want to build an AI box just to, so I at least stay abreast of like, okay, what does it look like? How does it work? When people say this, what does that really mean? It's kind of like, even though I never really got involved in crypto, I wish I would have a little bit just to understand the concepts and what people are talking about, right? I mean, and so I feel that way with AI. I feel like we're at a point where, okay, I could dip my toes into it enough to understand, hey, can I run this LLM at home and do these things and, feed it some examples and train, a model or tune it, I guess I should say. See, I'm learning terms already. Tune this model because they're probably already trained. You just need to tune it for your use case and then see if I can get the result I want. And so those are the kinds of things I want to do. And that's really just for my own personal curiosity too. Will I share it? Maybe if people are interested. But yeah, NVIDIA in-house LLM setups are going to be nuts. They are they are for sure. For sure. They have a corner on this whole market. And they have. I mean, they cornered the market on crypto. Now they're cornering it on AI and crypto at the same time because crypto's bouncing back. So yeah, it's only Nvidia's to lose. How about that, right? How about that? Like everyone else is just going to chip away at them, and they're going to try, and they're going to try hard, and they're going to, some people will probably bet their whole business on it because that is their business. So. Caps Lock Hero, hey, thanks for following. Appreciate it. Swiss Techno Tom, good seeing you. Great question. I would love to be able to do that. I don't have anything in-house to where I can do that because I'm not going to send my firewall traffic to someone else. Obviously, a lot of it comes from Cloudflare, and they're probably doing this already. Like, talk about someone who's doing this at scale. AWS, Cloudflare, Akamai, Google, Microsoft, you name it. Amazon, well, I named AWS. They're all probably doing this already. Getting ready to sell you a firewall product that will do just that. So, but I would still like to test it out. So, Music Driver, hi everyone. Hi Tim, just right. Hey, thanks for being here, Music Driver. Good to see you. Gabogi, consumer machine with PCIe lane restrictions, PVE on the NVMe, no parity. LXC was pterodactyl worker with TeamSpeak 3 server, which has been a companion since school. No critical files, but I'd really like to get them back. Pretty close guess, though. Yeah, hey, so this is going back to, you said you lost your boot drive. You didn't say anything other than that. Then you said, I lost some files, and it was running a container. So I thought for sure it was going to be like, hey, I'm running this one-off Docker container on Proxmox because I want to be able to get to the iDRAC on that machine. But, hey, you're running Pterodactyl. And it was also running you're running Pterodactyl, and I assume in Pterodactyl then you installed TeamSpeak, and that had a configuration file that you needed. Yeah, back those up because those are the files that rarely change, and all it does, and I this is hindsight is 2020, right? You should have backed it up, but on files like that, which probably rarely ever changes, just back it up once. Just back it up once. Sometimes you don't need a whole process to just copy and paste it somewhere else. Really quick, even a secure note and whatever password manager you use, because it's great when you can copy and paste that back in. So, Priamorto, I rebuilt my K8s cluster on Omni Talos yesterday. Yeah, all right, which was running a dev cluster on it for 3 weeks. Finally running my home prod cluster on it now, and it's going really well. Awesome. So planning to work with Ceph Rook this week, and that is awesome. I need me some of that. So you're running Omni, which Omni helps you manage Kubernetes clusters, but it helps you manage ones that are bootstrapped on Talos, which is an operating system that is specific to running only containers, super small, super secure, and you got that running. That is awesome. And so then you plan on running Rook Ceph, which is a storage provider for Kubernetes that's based on Ceph, which is distributed storage. There's a lot going on in there to unpack, so I'm trying to unpack it for people who might not know what that is. But that sounds awesome. Now that I'm moving some of my workloads to my colo, like ones that I need running all the time, now this gives me another playground at home where I can play with stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I know you asked in Discord too, like, hey, you should check this out. I'd love to see a video on it. I would love to play with it. And to be honest, if I'm going to play with it, I'm going to make a video on it. So we'll see. SSH taking longer can be the new backdoor if you're on the latest SSH. Yeah, we were talking about that. Or it can be just DNS stuff sometimes too. Oh yeah, we heard this. Typical. We need to catch up as an adult. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I need to catch up as an adult. I for sure I do. High potential. I'm building a home lab. Saw that in the title. It is unlikely the kind of lab you're talking about, but still curious. Yeah. Hey. So this is great. So I run into this a lot. So you're saying, hey, I'm building a home lab, but it's nothing like the home lab you're talking about. That is right. So I've noticed, because I post stuff on Home Lab all the time. There's another kind of home lab, which is like chemistry based, or it's even like biology based. So home lab is a generic term that, gets used for like chemistry like stuff, or even like growing your own, I don't know, food or something like that. I see it get used a lot because in my Instagram feed and everything too, I'm like, what kind of home lab is this? Like, what are they talking about? This is like some furniture with stuff. And on top of that, there's also a company, I think, that is called Home Lab. So yeah. So this is where we're kind of crossing the streams. Homonyms, right? Is my sixth grade or fourth grade grammar kicking in? Homonyms, right? Same name, different meaning. Yeah, homophone is same sound, different spelling. Yeah, so these are homonyms. So I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so home lab in the tech world is really, at least like the way I look at it, and I think a lot of people do too. Think of like a computer lab, right? You have this lab, this environment where you can work on experiments, right? Kind of experiments. I'm trying to tie this into maybe the lab you're talking about. So you have this computer lab set up where you can experiment with different technologies, and then you just bring that home with you. And I think this, a lot of it stems from a lot of people get to, they have production environments or stuff like that, or in college they had real computer labs where they could do these experiments. But once you get out of college, you can't do a lot of these experiments. And once you go into corporate life or work on another computer system, you really can't experiment there. So a lot of people started building their lab, a computer lab at home and doing experiments there. So that's where, I don't know. I've been doing it for a long time. I think even before it was called home labbing. Who knows? Maybe that's an old name. But that seems to be the name that stuck. I think Reddit played a large part of that. This is all my speculation. I'm not the expert at it. I just play along. It's fun. So anyways, I run into that a lot. And so I would love to know like the type of lab you're talking about, because I see this in my Instagram feed, and they'll even say like, is this a good recommendation for this hashtag? I have to say, I do say no. I do say no, because for me, that's not my type of home lab. So I've recently abandoned TIG for Home Assistant, as I can do logging. Okay, so this is telegraph and logging and stuff. Okay, I can do logging just as well, but I have it running for home automation. Anyways, that is awesome. Hey, y'all, I just realized that I went way over, and I do apologize. I almost got caught up. Kind of getting caught up. Let me see. I'm totally gonna just pick one. I probably should just go with the next one because there aren't too many there. I'm just gonna go with the next one. What am I saying? I'm saying that, hey, I usually go roughly an hour. I've gone a little bit longer. I do want to respect your guys' time, and I know that there are mods and other people involved, and some people got to eat dinner or go to sleep or do whatever, and they don't want to listen to me blab the whole time. So I do keep it around an hour and went a little bit longer today. This is going to be my last comment that I read or we talk about. So, Monkey Boy says, running TrueNAS scale on a Mobo. First of all, I love it when people say Mobo, because I used to always write Mobo, motherboard. It was always short for motherboard. You don't see it anymore, people saying that, but I just remember like when I would build computers, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago, we'd always say Mobo. So I'm glad you say Mobo. Anyways, running TrueNAS scale on a Mobo with an unsupported Realtek Wi-Fi chip. Thought I would use it as an access point, so I installed RASP AP on Debian VM, PCI pass-through, compile driver still struggling to get hosta PD working. I've been there. I have been there. Honestly, I've been there. That was like my dream. That was my dream with like my mobile home lab, right? Where I could take my mobile home lab, which is really going to be a NAS++, and just take it with me, and it could provide internet access, and I would have seamless, like I would have local storage wherever I was, or I'd have local containers to run whatever I want. And then I would VPN back to home, right, for the things that I wanted that I didn't bring with me. And I went down this path. I tried to find so many things to get to work. I will say, though, that I did figure out a couple of things with a Realtek chip. And I think there were some comments, too, on my blog post about it, about some Realtek chips that do work But anyways, all of that aside, I cheated. What I ended up doing was I'm going to install Proxmox on the thing. Proxmox worked with everything. And then I was going to run virtual machines inside of that Proxmox instance and then pass through hardware I needed to those operating systems, which had driver support for all this stuff. So I've been there. I kind of wanted this all-in-one. I mean, basically like the forbidden router, Wendell talks about on Level 1 Tech. And then, this whole travel router thing that Network Chuck has talked about. And I thought about, basically, I wanted to combine them both and bring virtualization, bring services securely with me, along with an access point and storage all in one. So I've been there. It is tough. It is tough, especially when you're that close, when you're like, oh man, this is the last thing I need is just to get Wi-Fi working on this device. But that's where it gets really, really tough to get working. So anyways, you don't have to check out the video. I have a blog post on it too. It points to the video, but it also talks about some of the devices that I used. And I think in the comments section, a lot of people pointed to Realtek drivers that were compiled that will end up working. So maybe they'll work for you. I think just go to technotim.live and search for Mobile Home Lab. And I think one or two things will pop up and it's in there in the comments section. Anyways, I'm going from memory. If it's not there, I apologize. But I think it is. Anyways, man, thank you all so much for turning up today and for chatting. Been an awesome Saturday to kind of, hang out and talk tech. I've been pulling my hair out. I'm still like, I would call this about half Kramer. I'd say this is half Kramer. You don't want to see full Kramer. But this is about half Kramer and kind of explains the last couple of days. So it's great to kind of be social and talk about other people's problems and other people's struggles rather than my own. So anyways, and a lot of great things I learned today, a lot of things I still need to look into. I need to look into this TIG plugin to Telegraph logging or something for my 3 Pi-hole instances. It sounds pretty awesome. So anyways, if you have something you want to share, you did share and I didn't get to it, I do apologize. You're welcome to share it in our Discord server. We have a Discord server, has almost 10,000 people in there, full of people who are just working on stuff, trying to figure stuff out. We have a lot of helpful people who help from time to time and a lot of people who share stuff. So if you want to join, you should absolutely join. Just use !Discord here. Or if you forget, hey, how do I get into TechnoTim's Discord? Google that. How do I get into TechnoTim's Discord? And Google will probably give you a link right to my Discord because we're a partnered server. And so that link will work no matter what. So absolutely, you should join. And if you have something you want to share with me or need me directly, yeah, feel free to ping me. I don't mind pings at all as long as it's just not like blowing me up. But at the same time, I'm a big boy. I manage my notifications. So I never really get upset for the person that sends a lot of messages when I have all the control in my hands to quiet them or to reduce them. Anyways, I'm getting all like philosophical about push notifications, but as you can see, I feel pretty passionate about them. I won't go there. But anyways, I know how to manage my notifications. Don't worry if you're worried about pinging me and you're in a different time zone or you ping me twice accidentally. Don't worry about it. It's totally fine. I know how to manage notifications on my end. Anyways, you should totally join. If not, totally cool. That's cool. I will be back here next Saturday to talk about all kinds of stuff. I will have something out for you hopefully this week, and hopefully it'll just be another piece of the journey, and hopefully it's just not me ranting about one Kubernetes setting where I lost 3 days of my life. So anyways, spam ping me, Modest Tim, you can. Other people, not something. No, I'm kidding. Nah, it's totally fine. Like I said, like yeah. Some people I know, they're just like, man, all these notifications. I'm like, well, just turn them off. Like you have everything in your control to turn them off. Like, you don't have to like let the notifications run your life. And that's what I learned a long time ago. And I feel a lot better. It's, I'll just check it when I get there. It's almost like, pre-2000s. Like, hey, it'll be there. The tech's there when I need it. And if somebody really needs something, they know how to really get a hold of me. So anyways, no, we're not going to talk about the philosophy or the psychology of notifications of people. So anyways, hey, I will be back next Saturday on here. I will have something out for you soon on YouTube. If you need me, ping me in Discord. Have a great Saturday. Oh, real quick, thanks for the follows. Thanks for the resubs. Thanks for the new subs. Thanks for the bits. Pretty awesome. But most importantly, not that those are important, thanks for being here. Thanks for being in chat. Thanks for talking about stuff. Is good. Always good to get on here and talk to you about tech stuff. And it's a great mental break for me from Kubernetes. Hopefully it was for you too. Anyways, I'll be back next Saturday. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter if you celebrate it. And be good to each other. Take care, folks.